news tonight. President Tinubu urges world leaders to change their negative perception of Africa. Governor Adeleke called for subnational partnership between Ghana and Nigeria. And on the foreign scene, Senegal, Chad says President Macron's comment was revelation of contempt for African continent. Good evening and welcome to the Major Report. I am Kayode Adebayo. President Bola Tinubu has urged world leaders to change their negative perception of Africa, noting that the leaders are working hard for the prosperity of their respective countries. Speaking as a special guest of honor at the inauguration of John Mahama as Ghana's 12th president in Accra, President Tinubu said, Africans have nothing to prove to anyone except themselves. He called for collaborative efforts to tackle social and economic malaise plaguing the continent, as he stressed the need to lift the nations out of poverty and build a resilient economy at its own pace. The president seeks more focus on people's most pressing concerns, including poverty, youth unemployment, instability, insurgency, and many other problems hampering the desired progress. Mahama, president of the country between 2012 and 2017, returned to power after taking his oath of office before many dignitaries from Africa and the Commonwealth of Nations, as well as traditional rulers. Osun State Governor Senator Adeleke has called on leaders of Ghana and Nigeria to extend the close partnership between the two countries to subnational levels for mutually beneficial outcomes. Governor Adeleke made the call in a statement by a spokesperson, Malam Olawale Rashid, after a closed-down meeting with President Mahama at his residence in Accra, praising the historical relationship between the two countries as deserving of further elevation. He stressed the need for Ghana-Nigerian Commission to encourage state and regional government cooperation in order to help the two nations attain further developmental cooperation. The governor, however, pointed out that the state is open to commercial and cultural relationships for the mutual benefit of the people. The House of Representatives said it will adopt stringent measures in the scrutiny and consideration of the 2025 appropriation bill. Deputy spokesman of the House, Honorable Philip Agbese, said this while assuring Nigerians that the Parliament is committed to advancing the nation's development through a thorough review and strategic adjustment of the 2025 budget. Recall that President Bola Tinubu presented a 49.74 trillion naira budget to a joint session of the National Assembly last year, setting the stage for legislative scrutiny and approval. The chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation, Honorable Abubakar Bichi, had convened a meeting with other committee chairmen to fine-tune preparations for the defense of the budget estimates. The exercise will involve ministries, departments, and agencies of government, marking a crucial phase in the 2025 budget process. The China Development Bank has announced the approval of a $254.76 million loan to support the Kano-Kaduna Railway project in Nigeria. According to information released on its website, the financial backing is expected to ensure the seamless continuation of the construction work. The railway, a standard gauge line stretching 203 kilometers, will link Kano, a key commercial city in northern Nigeria, to the nation's capital, Abuja, and also provide residents with a safer and more efficient mode of transportation once operational. In addition to easing transportation, the project is expected to spur economic growth by fostering the development of industry along its corridor and as well create numerous employment opportunities during its construction and subsequent operations. The Kano-Kaduna Railway has been listed as a practical cooperation project under the Third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. Osun State Governor Senator Adeleke has urged residents to prioritize safety precautions and prepare for disaster management ahead of occurrence so as to prevent the loss that usually attend the incident. The call was made by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Emergency Management, Honorable Emio Lafake, while flagging off the distribution of relief materials to the victims of fire outbreaks, flooding, and rainstorm in the state. Our man, Oluwatosin Oladokun, completes the story.
Over 5,000 beneficiaries were selected across the 3 senatorial districts in the state, all of whom lost property due to the flood, fire, and rainstorm. The relief efforts are part of the administration's life-changing programs and massive infrastructure development initiatives of Governor Ademola Adeleke. In a address, the special advisor to the governor on emergency management, Honorable Emiola Fake, highlighted a series of life-changing programs and massive infrastructural development which are undertaken by the administration of Governor Ademola Adeleke. She said over 5,000 people across the 3 senatorial districts were victims that lost their property to flood, fire, and rainstorm. According to her, the distribution of relief materials such as roofing sheets, nails, cement, rice, beans, gari, among others, were provided by Governor Ademola Adeleke administration with a view to addressing the plight of the victims. In their submissions, the State Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Uluoma Kolapu Alimi, the superb chairman in the state, Honorable Ibukun Fadipe, emphasized the need for the beneficiaries to proclaim the gospel of the relief materials distributed by Governor Ademola Adeleke across the state.
Our governor is such a person that's so compassionate about human beings.
The DO underscored the need for inhabitants of the state to, as a matter of taking proper precautionary measures against fire disaster before leaving home, every electrical appliances must be detached. Earlier, the General Manager of Osun State Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Biola Oni, lauded Governor Ademola Adeleke's passion and compassion, particularly his administration's determination to address plight of the people. He said the agency, through the distribution of building materials and food items under the special advisor to the governor on emergency management, Honorable Emiola Fake, is another remarkable achievement of Governor Ademola Adeleke. The beneficiary who spoke at the occasion commended Governor Ademola Adeleke for the provision of the relief materials and thereby assured him their unwavering support to his administration. Highlight of the occasion was the official flag of ceremony, Oluwatosin Oladokun, OSBC News.
The World Health Organization has said that the respiratory virus surge in China, particularly the human metapneumovirus, is expected for winter and no emergencies have been declared in the country. A spokesperson for the World Health Organization, Dr. Margaret Harris, clarified this while addressing the rising concerns about respiratory virus in China during a press briefing in Geneva. According to Harris, there has been considerable media interest in respiratory virus circulating in China, including the HMPV. Data from the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention indicate that the surge involves familiar pathogens, including seasonal influenza, respiratory syncytial virus, HMPV, and SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19. The WHO confirmed that China's reported levels of respiratory infections were within the normal range for winter, and hospital utilization is currently lower than this time last year. She urged the public to take preventive measures, emphasizing that simple precautions like hand hygiene, wearing a mask, improving ventilation, and avoiding crowded places can effectively reduce the risk of infections. An Ikeja Special Offences Court has dismissed the plea application filed by the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, challenging its jurisdiction to hear the $4.5 billion and $2.8 billion naira fraud case brought by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Delivering the ruling, Justice Rahman Oshodi held that the court had jurisdiction over counts 8 to 26, citing relevant legal authorities and evidence presented in the case file. However, the court struck out counts 1 to 4, which centered on abuse of office through the allocation of foreign exchange without bidding, noting that such actions were not punishable under Nigerian law. The judge subsequently adjourned the trial to February 24 this year for continuation. Governors of the southwest region of Nigeria have been admonished to be extra vigilant and put adequate security measures in place to prevent bandits from encroaching the region. The admonition is coming against the backdrop of the alarm raised by Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State about the influx of bandits into the state. In this special report, Oluchi Amuda brings the aggregate opinion of the people on the solutions to the security situation in Nigeria. Our report.
The recent alarm raised by the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, on the influx of bandits fleeing military operations in the northwest into the state through its borders and their subsequent movement to other parts of the southwest region has been generating reactions among Nigerians. The outburst of Governor Makinde is also coming on the heels of the warning issued by the Niger State government to residents of some communities in the state, urging them to avoid going to farms to prevent them from falling victims of improvised explosive devices planted by bandits, adding that the military must first clear the suspected mine-laden areas before locals can resume movement. The security challenges in different parts of the country have been attributed to one of the major reasons Nigeria is having food crisis and majority of the citizens living below poverty level. While reacting to this development, an analyst, Comrade Michael Ebofi, stated that it is not enough for Governor Seyi Makinde to raise alarm on the security challenges in the region, but urgent actions must be taken by the governors in the southwest, most especially in the area of intelligence gathering and the effective manning of the state's borders to ensure that people are protected at all times. Comrade Ebofi also spoke on the need to involve the services of traditional rulers in the fight against insecurity.
That is why state governors must really be on their feet to carry out their intelligence gathering, to have intelligence gathering mechanism, strong one, that can even be very, very important in handling the security issues. And other thing is carrying along the royal fathers. The problem being there is that some of these governors have abandoned the roles of these royal fathers, these local heads, community heads. They abandon them, saying, what would they offer? What can they do? Whatever is happening. You understand? There are so many things that are happening. But by the time we now have so many people that are coming up, giving information, and they work with the information. But some other people, they have information, but they are scared giving this information to some of the security agents because they may use it against them.
Similarly, another analyst, Mr. Ayo Aderiniola, stated that immediate attention must be taken by the government in the region by empowering the regional security outfit codenamed Amotekun to properly secure the region against invaders.
I will advise the federal government to allow the state to convert the Amotekun in the south to state police, so they know their terrain, they know our environment, so they will curb the insecurity in our environment before it escalates. Because if it continues like that, these people are wicked, they are heartless. They are the set of people who cause the problem of food insecurity in Nigeria. I have been to Borno State, I've been to Bauchi State. They are farmers, food are very cheap. But these people now, see the tomato seller, the outside that are planting tomatoes. If you ask them now, they harvest from their farm, the bandits will get money from them. If they refuse to give them money, they will kill them. As a result, majority of them migrated to southern area they'll be doing Okada and little stealing.
In his reaction, the leader of the Nigerian Forest Security Services in Osun State, Alhaji Hamid Nureni, spoke on the need for government to enlist the services of local security outfits, most especially the hunters, to man the forests, which often serve as gateways through which the bandits move to the region. Alhaji Nureni maintained that once the forests are safe, farmers would be able to go to their farmlands without fear, and the challenges of hunger would be a thing of the past.
Another insecurity challenge is on its way to Nigeria and Southwest entirely. But what I really think that can be the solution for the insecurity, this is the time to introduce local security, most especially hunters, so that if the government can mobilize hunters to our forest, I think this can cover the insecurity in our state. So this is a time for the government, federal, the state government, and all the harbors to bring in the hunters because of our farmers. We cannot go farm freely. We cannot go to harvest our crops in our farms. So I use this opportunity to appeal to federal government and the state government to bring in the hunters to mobilize to our forests.
The respondent called for concerted efforts and effective collaboration among all the security agencies in the country to combat insecurity and make Nigeria a safe place for all. They also advised the Southwest governors to invest heavily in agriculture to ensure food security and sustainable development. Oluchi Amuda, OSBC News.
Meanwhile, the security agencies across the Southwest have ramped up measures to tackle the security threat in response to Governor Seyi Makinde's alarm about the influx of bandits into Oyo State. According to a top security chief, the measures include intensified border patrols and enhanced collaboration among the police, Amatekun, and the military forces in the region. Governor Seyi Makinde addressed the alarm that bandits fleeing military onslaught in the northwest were coming down to Oyo State to take refuge, but gave the assurance that the state government was determined to smoke out and eliminate the bandits. Makinde, who spoke during the closing ceremony of the 2024 base socio-cultural activities and veterans parley of the 655 Nigerian Air Force Station, charged the military to intensify its effort to combat terrorism, kidnapping, banditry, and other security threats. In its response to Makinde's outcry, the Ondo State Police Command disclosed ongoing collaboration with Amatekun to secure the state borders, asserting that the police were making all efforts to ensure that the state is safe. In Lagos State, the Commissioner of Police, Olariwaju Shola, expressed confidence that the state security infrastructure disallowed entry of bandits into the state. The Corps Commander of Osun Amatekun Corps, Mr. Adekunle Omoyele, said the Amatekun focused on strategic locations, especially border communities with other states, as it gave attention to safeguarding the forest in the state and ensuring that kidnapping and other criminal activities are not allowed to take root in the region. Meanwhile, the Are Ona Kakanfo of Yoruba Land, Chief Gani Adams, has called on governors in 6 southwest states to be vigilant and address security concerns decisively. Ogun State Police Command has raised concerns over a significant increase in reports of missing persons in the state. The command spokesperson, Omalola Odutola, made this known in a statement in Abeokuta, adding that the command had noticed an unprecedented rise in the number of missing persons across all age groups. She explained that only a small fraction of the individuals had been found, with many regrettably not returning home. The police image maker urged residents to remain vigilant and more security conscious while prioritizing their safety, saying that the command was committed to raising public awareness about the trend. The PPRO reiterated that the public could contact the police control room and the police public relations department for assistance. The military high command has confirmed that 6 soldiers lost their lives during the encounter, while 34 terrorists who had attempted to surprise the troops and retaliate the recent killing of their commander and combatants were eliminated. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, while providing an insight into what transpired between Gari area and Damboa local government area of Borno State, explained that most of the bodies recovered were those of the terrorists. This is in response to the earlier report indicating that 4 days after Boko Haram terrorists overran the military base, many soldiers were still unaccounted for, a development many stakeholders within the security circle described as worrisome. According to Major General Edward Buba, the terrorists were neutralized by the air component of the Operation Harden Kai, which conducted air interdiction, while another senior military officer said battle damage assessment revealed that several terrorists were killed while their weapons were recovered. You are now welcome to our sports segment. The Nigerian Football Federation Executive Committee has approved the appointment of Eric Sekocheli as the new head coach of Nigeria's senior men's national football team, the Super Eagles. The decision followed the recommendation of the NNF Technical and Development Subcommittee during its meeting held in Abuja. In a statement by the NFF, the Executive Committee of Nigerian Football Federation has endorsed the recommendation of its Technical and Development Subcommittee for the appointment of Mr. Eric Sekocheli as head coach of Nigeria's senior men's national football team, Super Eagles. The NFF Technical and Development Subcommittee recommended the appointment of the former coach of the senior men's national team of Mali as the new head coach of the Super Eagles. At the 2023 African Cup of Nations finals in Côte d'Ivoire, Chile's Mali came very close to a place in the semi-finals, losing to host and eventual winners Côte d'Ivoire 2-1 after extra time, after leading by a lone goal until the final minute of regulation time. The 47-year-old featured for Matisse, Valenciennes, Lens, Istres, and Chamois-Niortais in France during his playing career. His appointment is with immediate effect, and he has the responsibility of guiding the Super Eagles to earn a ticket to the 2026 FIFA World Cup Finals, with the next round of matches day 5 and 6 taking place in March. Now from the foreign scene, Senegal and Chad have reacted to the recent remarks by the French President Emmanuel Macron at an annual ambassadors conference in Paris, saying his comment was more of the revelation of his contempt for the African continent. Abayomi Adeyemi has the details of this and more from the foreign scene, his report.
Reactions have been trailing the recent comments by French President Emmanuel Macron saying Africa forgot to be grateful to France, with Chad and Senegal describing the comments as contemptuous of the African continent. To be recalled that the French president at the forum remarked that African countries are ungrateful over France's role in helping fight militant jihadist insurgencies. Macron said that Sahel states forgot to thank France for its role amidst the continued withdrawal of French troops from West African countries. He further stated that no Sahelian nation would be a sovereign nation without France's intervention that prevented them from falling under the control of militants. Responding to the remarks, Chad's Foreign Minister Abdurrahman Kolamala expresses concern over the comments, describing it as a reflection of a contemptuous attitude towards Africa and Africans. Similarly, Senegal's Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko said France had in the past contributed to the destabilizing certain African countries such as Libya, which had disastrous consequences for the region's security. In maintaining that France has neither the capacity nor the legitimacy to ensure African security and sovereignty. Meanwhile, Turkey has threatened to launch a military operation against Kurdish forces in Syria unless they accept Ankara's condition for a bloodless transition following the overthrow of Bashar al-Assad last month. Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan told newsmen that Turkey will do what is necessary if the People's Protection Units fail to meet Ankara's demands, as Turkey is seeking to make itself a key player as its southern neighbor stabilizes. According to him, a military operation could be on the cards, but added that the new Syrian leadership, for which Turkey has voiced support, has the power to battle the YPG on its own. Al-Assad's overthrow opposition rebel forces last month raised the prospect of Turkey intervening directly against Kurdish forces in Syria, which are accused by Ankara of links to the Kurdistan Workers' Party. The PKK has been battling the Turkish government for decades, while Turkey, as well as the United Nations and the European Union, has long considered it a terrorist organization, with the conflict estimated to have killed more than 40,000 people. Abayomi Adeyemi reporting for OSBC News.
And with that news from the foreign scene, we conclude our major report on OSBC TV tonight. The bulletin was edited by Michael Adeniyi. I am Kayode Adebayo. Thanks for watching and good night.